All right, all right. It's another Wednesday CNC Hangout with the brothers and sisters who like carving wood and other stuff with their CNC routers, lasers, whatever you like to play with. But so I'm Garrett with IDC Woodcraft, and
I'm Kate Tucker with Women Who CNC. Welcome back to another lovely Wednesday here at 8 p.m. And we are have some very special guests on. But first, I just want to say Happy Valentine's to everybody here that's watching, or Galentine's. However you choose to celebrate today, we just want to let you know that you are loved. We love having you here every Wednesday with us. So, all right. Well, a couple of house rules before Garrett gets into introductions. So you guys know the rules. First off, always be kind. Please don't leave rude comments, things like that, because you will be booted out. We have a zero tolerance policy for that. As well as, because we have our very special guests on, we will probably be cutting off questions about 8:45. So if you do have questions for Jeff and Jess, please make sure to put question in all caps letters right in front of your question. It makes it really easy for us to pick those out. But again, make sure you get those questions in by 8:45 because we will be cutting that off. So, all right, let's see. Garrett, you want to tell us a little bit about what we're doing?
yeah, so we got some special guests on, as you know. We have Jeff and Jess are going to be popping on in just a little bit from Two Moose Designs. You've seen them on YouTube. They started off with an X-Carve, and they went on to Onefinities, and they got themselves a nice little business going on. They create content to help you out. And so tonight is a time to ask CNC questions. We're going to kind of open the floor of whatever. We were pre-talking to these guys, and they said, you know what, just bring the questions on. We don't care. We'll answer them. And so I'll let them tell their story. Briefly, though, Kate, would you like to say hello to a few people here? We can't cover everyone, but we can say hi to a couple names.
Of course. Let me scroll up here. There has been a lot of chatter, so I was trying to kind of check out the chatter a little bit here. But we do have Ellen. Hey, sister, welcome back. So I'm seeing a few new people in here, so I'm just going to go through and say hey. Looks like we've got JB Daniels, George Hedrick, Billy McGee, Flash Corden, Sean, Tom and Julie Frank. Welcome back. Steve Bradley, Brian Neighbor. Let's see, we've got Mike Eames and John Kimlinger. We've got Oz. Hey, Oz. Oh, and I have to give a special shout out to Tim Nudd, who was our first one here.
Tim is the winner.
24 hours in advance. He did fantastic. So congratulations, Tim. That's awesome.
All right. So this is the benefit of being on board right at the front, because that you're going to get a hello, and then we're going to have to say, sorry, guys, we can't say hi to the rest of you because we got some special guests, and sometimes we can talk too much. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring Jeff and Jess on board and say hello. As soon as we get back into the camera, I don't see them right now. So they get, they're running back. They're running back. Come on, Jeff. Oh, they're bringing puppies and everything. Here we go. All right.
So,
hello. Everybody, this is Jeff and Jess from Two Moose Designs. They got their pets. And Jeff, Jess, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. So all who's watching, you can ask questions. Put in the comment, put big question, the word question, and then ask your question, and we will start them. And dogs barking in the background, that's life. That's just the way it goes. So
we know your puppies are. We know your puppies are a huge part of your life because we see them all the time on your YouTube thumbnails and everything. They're so adorable. I'm a huge dog person, so I love the puppies.
Poofing at nothing right now.
Why don't you guys kind of start off telling us how you got into CNC? What's the story? I mean, you're a couple that's doing this thing together, which is super inspiring for me. And and now you got a business and you're shooting YouTube videos, and How do you manage all this? What's the story? Give us the dirt.
So we started in 2017. My sister-in-law kind of wanted just like some random stuff, and we've been like working on her house, so she just like assumed we were handy. And then she's like, "Oh, I kind of found this stuff on Etsy. Could you probably make this for me?" So then we just kind of made her a couple shelves, and then I didn't even know what Etsy was at that time. So then we ended up listing a couple items on Etsy, and a few of those items just took off. And after that, we kind of just went hard into it and like kind of put all of our eggs in that basket. And then at the end of 2017, our first like big purchase was the X-Carve. And we already had like, I had like, the basic construction tools. And then I bought like a cheap joiner. I splurged and got the DeWalt planer, but the X-Carve, it was just so amazing that we could customize your items. And that's kind of also like what set us apart at that time, because CNCs grew quite fast. They weren't quite as popular for the hobbyist level then. It was pretty much X-Carve and Shapeoko at that time. That was like the mainstream hobbyist CNCs at that time. And then the end of that year, we both were full time and just giving it our all.
So what items were you guys selling? Did you feel like maybe took off more than others, or?
So I think we always sold the clocks.
The clocks, but the dog feeders
dog feeders were what we essentially bought the CNC for, because people were making these like cute little dog feeder feeding stations. And all the little plaques, you could hang the plaque from the front that had like their dog's name on it and all that kind of stuff, but they all just didn't look that good.
Well, and we were using a Cricut for them at first.
We started with the Cricut and painting it, and then the CNC was just so much faster and easier to customize those.
Yeah.
Yep. So are you talking like the little benches that the dog bowls set in?
Yep.
Is that
just like 10 inches tall with the bowls in it, and then you could pay extra to have the name on the front of it.
Yeah, it's a dog kitchen table.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't go. You almost can't go wrong when you're doing special things like pets or things like that.
You have to.
Yeah. So you got to making projects and selling them, and so were both of you working at the time?
Yep.
Yeah, I was an aluminum welder welding fire trucks, and she was
I was a pastry chef.
Oh,
so nice. A little bit different than what we're doing now.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh. So when you guys, did you just kind of like gradually start like both decide that you were just going to kind of take this avenue, and like you both quit at the same time, or did like one of you quit and one of you go full time? And then like, what did that look like for you guys? Cause I know there's so much that goes into a business every day.
We started in like January, and I quit by, I think, May.
It was like 6 months in.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And you quit in like
I was
August or
September?
I
was towards the end of the year, and they ended up putting us on mandatory overtime. And it was a union shop. So like I went to talk to my boss about it, and like, hey, I'd love to like work longer, but at this point, like I got something cool going on the side, and I just can't work that mandatory 10 hours of overtime because I'm already working, a full-time job plus outside of here. And because it wasn't fair to the union and everything like that, I was like, well, I guess I'm going to put my 2 weeks in. And that was...
We just had to make it work.
Everyone thought we were crazy, but
yeah,
I mean, it felt crazy in the moment.
I'm sure.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's the crazies that actually make stuff happen. So there you go.
Got to take the lead.
And when did you start getting into YouTube?
So YouTube was kind of always on like the horizon and the plan, but YouTube was just so much more work than like Instagram and all that. And then initially I started posting. I hated social media, but I initially started posting to like Instagram, Pinterest, and all those to supplement the business and get the views over to like Etsy and our website. But then at some point I just started kind of posting like just me working in the shop and like behind the scenes kind of stuff. And then after like several months, I realized more woodworkers were starting to follow me than customers. And then a few people invited us to Workbench Con. And then we went to Workbench Con and kind of realized like, holy man, there's like a whole community here. And like people actually make money doing this kind of stuff. And then like that kind of just like, I mean, we've just been chipping away at it since. 2018.
So
Are
that
you
just
going
kind
to-
of
are you-
solidified everything that you were doing. You were like, yes, okay, we can do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you guys going to Workbench Con at the end of this month?
This year we're not. We went to every year but the first one.
Dude, I'm going to be there.
Of course, yeah.
We're
Everyone's
missing
like,
a
"Oh,
bunch
the,
of people
the year
this
we go,
year."
you guys don't
Yeah.
come."
Yeah, we just spent what? How much did we spend, Julian? $2,500 plane tickets and
Yeah,
what have
that's
you?
Oh my
the-
God. Yeah. That's
Oh,
That's the
by the way,
catcher.
yeah. By the way, I'm going to bring them on board because I didn't say anything about it. So, for all who's watching, in the background here is Julianne and Liberty, and they are monitoring everything that's going on. And when we have unhealthy comments, they will manage that. But they're also chit chatting with you in the background. So just want to let you know they are there, and these are the two ladies that keep me straight at IDC Woodcraft. So, all right, they'll be in the background. All right. So now you've got the business and you guys got a website now, and you sell projects, right? You sell you sell
Yep, we have as we've kind of like transitioned more so away from products, we started spending time making, because anyone who's run a CNC knows it's not just pushing a button. It's way harder than it looks. And as we've been doing it, more people have been asking for like, oh, like, how could we do that? And the easiest way to help other people do that in like a mass quantity was offer our like, we offer Vectric files now and SVG files and all the vectors. And then we also offer like you get like a set of plans with it to, make it as easy as possible when you get that kind of item.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, what software are you using when you do these plans?
What software do we like run them on? Or do
Well,
I
mean,
design
just like
in?
what software in general do you like design? So if somebody bought a file and like you're trying to walk them through it, like what software do you guys use?
So I started out on Easel just because the X covered the first machine, and Easel kind of locked me into there. Easel's super easy to use, but once you kind of get like more advanced, you can start seeing its limitations pretty quick. So then we hopped over to Vectric, and I love Vectric. But I actually do most of my design in
Adobe
Illustrator, and then I do my 3D design in Shaper 3D. But I pretty much do everything in Vectric.
I love that.
Speaking of Vectric, by the way, so we're all Vectric users, and for those of you who are watching and you struggle with the Vectric software, in the description of this video is a link that you can go to schedule time with Kate here. Kate does one-on-ones to help you through your Vectric projects if you're stuck. So yeah, there's no need to frustrate yourself trying to figure things out. Set up a one-on-one, and you'll go miles beyond what you ever thought you would in an hour. Hands down guarantee.
I believe it.
Yes.
It's so hard. Like, it's so intimidating and so much right away. So it's great that you guys offer that one-on-one, because there's so many specific things to it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's why we both endorsed Kyle's course. Kyle Ely, who
Absolutely,
did
he's great.
Learn Your CNC, right? When Kate and I say this, we talk about this at least once in every live episode. Before I get to that, for those who have popped on, we're talking to Jeff and Jess from Two Moose Designs, who have been shooting videos. They've got a business going on, a married couple, as they just said. This fell into their lap. They had to make some decisions and ended up making it a full-time gig. And it's hard, but there's nothing like running your own show and being in command.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we're Kate talking about the Vectric thing, and that you're investing in your machines and stuff like that. What about the knowledge?
Yeah. So, I mean, as you guys know, you invest into a CNC machine and you're like, yes, got it, check. And then you start looking around and you're like, oh, okay, I need bits. Okay, that's obviously, number one thing. And then you start getting online and you get into all these groups and then you're like, oh, I need dust collection. Check. And you start buying and like investing in all of this stuff. And then you look at the software and you're like, yes, okay, need the software. And then everybody, I think, has this oh crap moment because you look at the software and you're like, which version do I choose? Like, investing into your knowledge is essential when it comes to the CNC business, because I've said it time and time again. The machine is only going to do what you tell it to do. It's not tell the machine what you expect it to do. It's you have to use the programming which creates the G code, and then you put that into the machine. So there's a lot of things that go into that, and investing in your knowledge, whether it's through Kyle Eli's course over at Learn Your CNC, or it's reaching out to someone like me if you're just stuck on a project and just need like some forward motion. You can definitely reach out. I'm happy to do that. I do offer like bulk sessions if that's something that you're interested in, but just reach out to me. So I think knowledge is power, and the more you have of it, it's the better off you're going to be. I mean, Jeff here and Jess, I literally, when I first bought my Onefinity, you guys and Garrett were some of like, and Mark Lindsay and a couple other people were like some of the first people I kept seeing, like, and I kept watching, like, Jeff, I can't tell you how many times I watched like your spoil word video, or just like simple things that you were doing. I was like, wait, what did he say? Like, because you just start on this journey of like people that you start seeing that keep showing up in the space, and you're like, okay, let me go find them. Are they on YouTube? Are they on Instagram? Like, let me go find all these people. And like, I loved making clocks. That was a big thing that I did too. And so when Jess was making those big clocks, I was like, oh, okay, well, she's awesome too. Like, power couple here. Like, let's just dive in and like see what they're bringing to the table. Cause I mean, you guys have some incredible stuff. And so,
you got Jess,
Jess,
and
I mean,
Women Who CNC? Jess, are you a member of
that?
Women Who CNC Facebook group?
I don't think I am.
Yeah. So Kate's got
I follow all the
the
plant things.
Yeah, Kate's got the
Groups,
Facebook
yeah.
group, Women Who CNC. It's for women only. All right. So if you're a female creator and you want to get in that zone with all the Women Who CNC Facebook group.
I'll have to do that.
Yeah, heck yeah. Definitely need more ladies in the trades.
Yeah.
And all the woodworking stuff.
Yeah. I got one announcement that I want to make, and then we'll get back to these guys. So IDC Woodcraft is a growing business, and we are expanding the product line. And as a result, there's only so much bandwidth that I have. That's why I'm bringing on team members, and the people I bring on, they're excellent, and that's what I look for, excellence. And so we are now looking for a product tester as I expand the router bit line. And that is, there will be some benefit behind that. It's not going to be like a paid type of position full time. It's just per item product testing with standards, right? So we get a new router bit in, then I'm going to have that sent out, to that person, and they're going to work it, give me the data, and we'll do some work on it, and we'll dialogue until I'm happy with what I'm seeing, and then work it like that. So down in the description of this video is a link where you can apply to that. And when you click that application, there's going to be some information there. Like if you have a benchtop machine, we need more than a benchtop machine. We need more like a floor model machine to be doing the testing on. So anyway, that's the little announcement. If you're interested, in the description of the video, there is a link to apply for that. So, all right, there we go. Let's get back to the meat of the show. Get back to these guys who are the star of the show, and let them start talking. And so right now, so Jess, what you guys are doing now, you sell project designs, right?
Yep, we sell the files.
Okay.
So we have file. Yeah.
How many do you have on your website?
Oh, I don't even know right now. 50 plus at least.
Okay.
We have files. We have a couple plans, and then I think we have one course.
Okay. Oh, they got a course. What's your course on?
It's like a intro to 3D, cutting
Carving.
3D. Yeah, cutting 3D stuff on your CNC. So it's like a work with me course where you get I have I don't know if you can see it, but I have like a 3D modeled spoon file, and I show you how to carve it alongside me. So at the end, you get the file and you get to carve the spoon with me. I'll probably do something similar with like the inlay boards, just because it's so complex. It's just hard to like fit that all in like a simple message when people message me. So it's just a lot easier to send people there and kind of get all the information possible versus just,
Okay. Julianne, go to their website, find their course, and put it in the description. So Kate and I are all about taking courses, right? Because this is the way we learn. Because we all get it, all four of us will get email questions, and we get the same questions over and over and over and over, right? And that's what the benefit of courses are, right? You can learn that way. So Julianne will find your course and put it in the comment section, and Julianne also put it in the description of the video, please.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
and so,
are you guys ready to take some questions?
Fire away.
All right. Well, let's go here.
do
So
it.
up first we have Sean W here. It looks like, hey, Two Moose, how do you go about either advertising and selling? And do you go to lots of events to sell of mainly online, social media, etc.? Thanks.
So first off, advertise. So you have to do some sort of advertising, because if you're not getting eyeballs, you're not going to get sales. So one of the benefits of Etsy is Etsy essentially does that for you. So you can throw like $5 or $10 a day in there, and Etsy will disperse that content across people and get it in front of people. You can also do Facebook. There's also Google Ads. But the problem with Google Ads and Facebook is you really have to know what you're doing, or you're literally just burning money. If you don't have a targeted direction that money's going, it's honestly not even worth it. So I'd either spend a bunch of time on YouTube or hire somebody to help you through Google Ads or Facebook. But it's extremely powerful to use those things. It's just, you got to learn how to leverage them. It's just a big waste of time.
Yeah.
And that is such a golden thing to say, because like Jeff just said, advertising is a big thing to do when you can. Like he said, Etsy. This is where keywords on your products is really important, because that's where Etsy's going to know how to pull from when people do a search on Google or something like that. But just random advertisements can empty your pockets really fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see here. Okay. So the second part of that question was, and how do you go about to selling? Do you guys do mainly online, or do you do any markets anymore? Or
We've never done a market. We had a booth in like a antique, not consignment, but
it was like a store that sold.
It's kind of like a flea market,
handmade goods. Yeah, and they
rented
you
a
had a little
spot.
booth, but they managed it.
But that was the only thing we've done aside from online, and we only did that for 6 months. It's building to order was always what worked for us, versus having an inventory and having to keep those items somewhere in the house or somewhere.
For us, like, we live in rural Wisconsin, so people around here just don't have a high budget, and you kind of got to price things to get what you're worth, or it's just honestly not worth it, and it's just a hobby. So for us, the only way to do that was to sell online, and thankfully that worked out for us. And also, selling at markets is kind of like, it just might not match with your personality, because if you're more closed off, not a super talkative person, markets are just not going to be for you. They're going to be super overwhelming, and it's a select person that's going to crush it at markets.
Ball game. Yeah.
I mean, they're very good, but it's just, you might do a couple and be like, wow, this is not for me.
yes. Yeah. I will wholeheartedly concur with what you're saying. So I actually did the Pinners Conference, which is a huge market for makers and things like that. And I did like my DIY painted signs. But I mean, I'm one of those, like, I don't know a stranger. My mom and dad told me when I was growing up, they were like, you could be an attorney or whatever you wanted to be, because you could put a paper bag over your head and like you would still find somebody to like talk the paper bag off your head. So like with the Pinners Conference, like, there's all these people like walking away, and I had like a giveaway and a table, and like getting out in front and like talking to people and getting them to like give me their email address and like sign up for the giveaway. And then there was like this girl right across from me, like had the cutest products for like bath bombs and soaps and everything. And she literally just like sat behind her booth. Like, I'm just like, honey, you have like the most adorable products. Like, get out here and talk to some of these people. And like day 2, I finally got her to like, and she did so much better. She's like, I made so much more money today. I'm like, sis, you can't sit behind like your table and just be like,
just hiding.
Yeah, you got to grind it out.
That would be me.
Yeah. Yeah, like Jeff just said, you got to get the eyes on you, right? The thing about business is we have to be bolder than we normally are in regular life.
Yeah.
And even just that little thing, that girl stepping out a little bit.
Yeah. I was so proud of her, but yeah, I mean, it was just because she just kept looking at me like, what? Who is this crazy person? Like, she's like out here, like talking to everybody and like having people sign up and like tell them about their social media. And like I had QR codes. I'm like, here, scan this code and like go like my stuff and then sign up for the thing. And like, because you are literally your biggest advertisement. If you are not advertising and advocating for yourself and your business, then what are you doing?
100%.
Well said, sister. Well said.
Oh, thank you.
Right,
so Jeff,
oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say, so Jeff, kind of in connection with that conversation or that question, how, I know you said you do a lot of Instagram. Like, which platform do you feel like is your best way to drive people to your Etsy store?
So right away, believe it or not, it was Pinterest. Right away, Pinterest was crushing it for us. I don't know anymore, as I don't know how popular Pinterest is. And like, as we've like scaled, like the bigger you get, the less you kind of got to like push it because people are talking and it kind of cycles through. But right away, Pinterest was killing it. Facebook, I'd say for ads, kills it. And then for me, it's kind of weird because I more so market the woodworker now than our products. And it's kind of been like that for a while. So it's a little wishy-washy on the terms of like selling our items. But I'd say for every person, it's going to be slightly different because I talk to people that kill it on TikTok, but then they have nothing going on Instagram. So you kind of got to put your feelers out there to all of them right away and just see what works for you.
Right.
Okay. So as far as Pinterest, did you guys do a business account or just a personal account and then link your products through Etsy? Because I think on a business account, that's the only way that you can do that.
We took my old personal account and I don't even think we changed it to a business account because I think it changes different things you're allowed to do. And so, yeah, we would just share right from our Etsy listings to Pinterest.
And yeah, then they would get tracked. It was pretty good.
Pinterest is huge. I mean, just the marketing alone, because I mean, I spend a ton of time on Pinterest just because I'm like a Pinterest like DIY junkie. So I'm always looking for something like to do for the house or, whatever. But I think
it's still really relevant.
I love hearing you say that because I feel like Pinterest kind of like is like, it's not the first thing that people see. Like they think YouTube,
absolutely,
Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, like those are the top of the line. And Pinterest is, I mean, if you haven't done it, like download the app and go look because the amount of stuff, almost everything you click on goes to somebody's shop or something.
Selling something.
Right.
But even like YouTube, like we never like sold, I mean, other than like plans and stuff, but I have a couple of friends that they get so many sales through YouTube because people want to see that person behind the scenes and build that connection with a real person, that it's not just coming out of a factory. Like, oh, it's real people actually doing this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love that too.
Yeah. So you said now you're oriented more towards woodworkers. You're selling designs. You showed us one of your little projects that the designs that you sell. Bring that back out. That was so cute. I want to see that.
This is one of our latest ones. So it doesn't want to focus, but
I think
it's a little dog lamp. Yeah, it was like every once in a while we'll do like a 5 CNC project video.
Yes.
It's a little cute dog. It moves around. Doesn't use much wood.
That's too funny. And that's a plan you have on your site then, huh?
Yep.
All right. So you got the spoon and that was another video I watched a long time ago is that stuff. So you've got this whole project as well available. I get a lot of people asking, how do you make the spoon?
We have, so right away we started with like this one where it's the CNC carves the top of it. And then you have to shape the back yourself because 3D can be a whole journey on its own. So we made a series of them that you could carve with just the front, and then you use like a belt sander or whatever to smooth out the back. And then I graduated to 3D design, and I made a series of these covers both sides. You pretty much just got to like hand sand it, and it's good to go.
Is that
Nice.
so? That's a two-sided job, right?
Yeah,
Two-sided 3D
Yeah.
model. Okay.
we have
So Jess,
both.
yeah. Who's running the CNC machine more? Or I mean, you both
Jeff
are
is
running
now.
them, right?
Yeah.
Me now, but for
I used to, but
yeah, like pretty much we used to sell like serving tray. We still I don't even are they even listed anymore?
they're on the website, not on Etsy.
But
We're
like
taking products off.
She used to do all the customization on the CNC, and then I was the one doing all like the crazy stuff and learning all the new stuff. But she was the one cranking out the orders on the CNC.
Nice.
Super
I
cool.
love it.
Love women who CNC. I think it's amazing.
Absolutely.
It's so cool. Bring on another question there, Kate.
All right, let's see. Here we go. I believe this is the next one here. So he says, how can you speed up a carve? Have a feed rate of 200 IPM and carves fast, but takes forever actually carving it all out. Would like to figure this out for batching logos on products.
Okay, so
Well-
I'm assuming you're clearing out an area, not cutting out an area. Because if you're cutting out like an outline or like a profile, you can only go so fast before you're going to lose quality. But to speed up, to cut out like a pocket or batching out logos, when you're clearing an area, the fastest way to do that is to use a bigger bit. And a lot of people are locked into a 1/4-inch bit with you have like a hobbyist machine and don't have a spindle. So what I usually use is a 3/4-inch straight flute bit with a 1/4-inch shank, and it makes it drastically faster. If you look at like any of my catch-all video trays, you can use a bull bit or a straight bit, and I have them all linked in there. But I'm sure you make one, Garrett, a bull bit or any sort of straight bit.
Yeah, we got a bull bit. I don't have any straight bits. I'm an end mill kind of guy. But so do you do the roughing out with the straight bits and then? Well,
I'll cut the whole thing with the straight bit.
As much
Yeah,
as
I do have
possible,
straight bits. I take that back. It's just I have a lot of end mills as well, but I don't have the straight flute bits for like a router that would be the shape of an end mill around. I don't even know how to.
Yeah, it's just
say
the
it,
two
but-
flute.
Yeah. So you use that to rough stuff out, and then you come back in with a different bit to clean up.
No, I run that, and then I'll use like a 1/4-inch bit to like cut the profile. But if I'm cutting like a catch-all tray and I don't want that bull bit shape on the outside there, I'll just use a 3/4-inch straight bit, usually like a Freud or whatever's looking decent on Amazon that week.
Guess we're gonna have to take a look at that.
Yeah,
Another
very
product
cool.
for the product tester. By the way, the links to all these guys. So first of all, for those who have shown up later, we're talking to Jeff and Jess from Two Moose Design. You've seen them on YouTube. They have designs for creators, for people like you who run CNC machines. If you're looking for some projects and you're not sure how to design them out, you can go to their website, which is linked down below in the description. And Julianne, will you link their website in the comment, please? And you can pick up some of these designs. The spoon that he just showed, and that cute little dog thing. Who Jess, did you design that up or Jeff?
Jeff does all the digital.
I do the.
I help him with like the vision.
I come up with the idea, and
He
she's
does
like,
the
"No,
physical.
rein it in." I'm like, "Okay, cool, I can make that."
Okay.
I love
All
it.
right.
I love it. A true husband and wife couple. No,
Right.
rein it in.
Yeah.
So
No,
this- I think- is
you're
this-
extra. Too much.
So I think he's saying V-carve lettering only. Was that the same guy that asked that recent question? So with the V-bit, you're not going to go fast. And I
200
design all my
maybe.
files to run off of 90-degree V-bit, because once you start getting into those 60s and the 30s and the 15s, it takes forever. And like the 30 and under, they're pretty prone to breaking because that fine little tip on the end. So I try to do everything I can with the 90 or fatten up the line so I can run it a little harder. There's not much you can really do to make it go faster. Even you could switch to a laser, but those aren't the
They're not
fastest in the world
faster,
either.
no.
Yeah. So the other thing you can do too, as far as V carving, is if your letters are a mess, is maybe use the edit spacing tool and then widen up your letters a little bit, because like Jeff said, if you are using a wider bit, you need to make sure that you're accounting for the space that is in between each letter. So make sure you're using the preview in your Vectric software to really make sure that you're getting a representation of what you want. Sean did have another question. Oh, wait, I think it kind of might have disappeared for a minute. The other thing that I'm seeing is he's using a depth of a carve at 0.5. I usually do 0.07 at a minimum. What do you think, Jeff?
Yeah, I'd say I'm usually around like 0.1 ish. I'd say that's like average, but it kind of depends on the design. But again, rely on that preview. It's saved my butt so many times. And make sure your piece is flat, because with them V-bits, it doesn't take a whole lot for it to start looking wonky.
Yeah,
100%. That is a very valid point. Flat surfacing. Yeah. If you're doing a V-carve every single time, do a surfacing. Like, just don't kid yourself, because if you think you're got a flat piece and you go to V-carve, you will learn very quickly that you do not.
Don't question what Kate just said. Listen to the goddess here. She knows exactly what she's talking about. Anybody who's done a V-carve long enough knows that you will run into a piece of wood that is uneven, and that carve is not going to look good.
And something you can do to kind of, so if you're cutting a large area and you're like surfacing something in the top left, or carving something in the top left and then carving something in the lower right, you can always reset that Z to whatever area is not as like deep. Because she runs into that a lot with like the noodle boards, where she'll set the 0 in the center and then go to the lower right. And sometimes you got to check that Z height, because it doesn't take much for them letters to start looking weird.
Yeah, I'll just automatically
not much at all.
Yeah, you're like, okay, can we resurface this? Thank you.
And also, if it's taking too long, you can try to make, depending on what kind of font you have, make it deeper, your carving. Because I've gone up to like 0.15. With a 60-degree bit, it might be a little better. I don't know.
Yeah. The other thing, too, is talking about fonts, is make sure you're not picking like a really scrawny little font. Like, it may look okay from a distance, but really like zoom in on it. Like, I love the zoom in Vectric, because you can really get up close and personal with that font. If you've got really fine little flourishes and things like that, it can make it really, really hard.
It'll be a disaster right away.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, it looks like we've got a question here for Garrett. It said, if I buy the 1.5 kilowatt spindle with the 65 millimeter base, will it fit directly into my existing Makita router base? And will my dust boot fit also? I have the long mill MK2. Thanks in advance.
Okay. All right. Great question. First of all, what Rick is talking about is the PWN spindle plug and play kit. So if you have a Makita trim router or a DeWalt trim router, then you know that those machines make a lot of noise, and they scream for a very long time when you're running a carve, and they're not designed to run that long. The companies put those trim routers on the machines because it's convenient, it's inexpensive, and it cuts down on electronics and all kinds of things. But they do burn out, and we've all had them burn out. If you guys had you started off with those kind of trim routers, right?
Oh yeah, the old DeWalt 611 or whatever it was, but and then even when we started with the Onefinity, we had a little Makita on there.
Okay, all right. So anyway, so upgrading to a spindle is the thing to do for multiple reasons. Number one, and we've all upgraded, that's on the screen right now. Number one, spindles are much quieter. Number two, they're designed for this type of operation. And number three, they're actually a lot more accurate, because the spindle bearings are much more accurate. So on my router, I have my PWN spindle kit, and that's an 80 millimeter. But so to the question, Rick, you want to get a 1.5 kilowatt unit, which is a 65 millimeter unit. So you're asking if the bracket that's on the long mill will work for that. And you can fit it in there, but I wouldn't do it. I would buy the bracket that PWN has. It's much beefier, and it's good. Just buy the bracket. I'll just say it'll fit, but don't do it.
Yeah, we have the Pone too. I've also seen people 3D print like a spacer, but I wouldn't recommend anything like that.
Yeah. Jeff, what do you think for the Onefinity? Do you feel like the Z slider is heavy enough to handle the 65 millimeter?
Oh yeah, we have the 80 on there. We also have the stiffy, like the top extra rail that goes across there, but it's been fine for me. I don't know.
Okay.
I haven't really had any major problems.
Okay. Well, that's good to know because we have a lot of people in here that have Onefinities. So we always chuckle because Garrett's the big long mill guy. I'm a big advocate for Onefinity. So, but we did talk about as far as like the 65, if you were to do the 65, I would think that the Z slider would be heavy enough to handle the pawn spindle.
Yeah. If you're going with that bigger one, the 80, I'd probably get that top bar, but I would check the Onefinity group. There's all kinds of people posting in there and ask there. I personally don't know.
Yeah, I did. I was in a makers group with a couple other people, and Stone was actually in on one of the Zoom calls, and I did talk to him about it, and he did say if you're going to use the 80 millimeter spindle, you definitely need to have the stiffy rail, like you said, that third rail that goes on top of it for the extra support, so it's not weighing down, all that extra weight on there. So that's a great question, Rick. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I wanted to finish the question. So he asked about the dust boot, and the dust boot. Well, it's not designed with. I think it'll work, but I can't say for sure. I haven't put the dust boot on mine. I don't use my dust boot. I use my machine to train, so I always leave it exposed. But if you're thinking of, if you're kind of tired of the noise the thing's making, I do recommend a spindle. Once you go spindle, you never go back. And this PWN, it's actually quite easy to install or set up. The installation took a little bit of time because you had to rerun things through the drag chain. Julianne, put a link to PWN in the comments, please. She already got it. Anyway, yeah, the dust boot, I can't answer that question.
Okay. All right. Looks like we have a question up next here from Jen. This is one of our very, very talented ladies in our Women Who CNC group. This lady here is the cribbage board queen. I love giving Jen a shout. Her husband teases her about it. So, Jen, you're amazing. We just want you to know that. Let's see. So they're asking, what is the biggest thing that you think sets you apart from your competition?
Oh, I love questions like that.
Customization. So you can go on Etsy and look at people's best sellers and everything like that and kind of find what niche you'd possibly be interested in entering. But you got to offer different sizes, different colors. Like for us, when we started selling those dog feeders, we offered a cuter plaque with different shapes that everyone else wasn't offering. And then once you start getting that snowball effect, it just takes off. But customization, I mean, I don't know. You got to find your niche. Everyone's going to have a little bit different niche, but you got to offer. People want their name on things and everything like that.
I wholeheartedly agree. That's a great answer. Sorry about that. All right. Let's see who we've got here. Up next, we've got David Lesher. How do you surface a board with a 45-degree joints in the corners, like a picture frame per my email? So I'm assuming maybe Garrett or Jeff. Did you guys get an email from David?
I have no idea what that means.
Yeah,
okay.
I don't know if you'd
might have sent it to me. I get a lot of emails, so I don't remember them all in my head. But 45 degrees.
And I don't know if it came through to me. I haven't.
Yeah,
I
would need to see. I'd have to see a picture to know what he's actually talking about here. Yeah.
I apologize if that email was sent to me because it's not in my head right now.
I'm kind of wondering. Okay, so this is just kind of coming into my brain here. So in Vectric, you have the option to do a cut at a 45-degree angle, and I can't remember. I want to say maybe it's in the pocketing toolpath. Mark, if you are on here, if you could help me out with that answer, because I know what he's talking about, because when I cut cedar boards or signs like that, I have to cut it at a 45-degree angle and then do a little bit of an offset and then go back in and do a profile cleanup. but I can't remember what toolpath it's under. I want to say it's under pocketing. There's that option, but so I've seen Mark out there. So if he can help me out with that, that would be fantastic. All right. So
I love the next question.
Yeah. This is from Matt Dickon. How do you decide to take your CNCing business from a hobby into a business?
Well, first off, is that what you want to do? Because like it's if you just love going in the garage and playing with your CNC and just getting away for a few minutes, a business might not be for you, because it turns it from fun and games to like deadlines and constant. There's just no shutting it off. So like that'd be the first question. Like test it out, sell some stuff to your friends and families and see how that goes. But to jump into owning a business, my first tip would always be get your finances in order. If you got a bunch of outstanding debt and stuff like that, pump the brakes, get all that stuff figured out before you go into a business, because once you're relying on only making money from your business, it's way more stressful if you got a bunch of debt. So like get your finances figured out. And again, decide if that's actually what you want to do.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice.
Yeah.
Really,
Yeah.
because it does take it to a whole nother level.
Yeah. One of the things you can do is test the waters, right? This probably 90% of CNC creators, they get into business by accident. They'll post their stuff on Facebook and things like that. And next thing you know, you got a bunch of people coming to you. But if you're going to do it, you've got to be willing to narrow down. You can't be someone who's making everything under the sun, because that's going to drive you crazy.
Yeah, riches are in the niches.
Exactly, brother. Exactly.
Yeah.
By the way, all who's watching, who's popped on, we have a special guests on. We have Jeff and Jess from Two Moose Designs. You've seen them on YouTube, and they have lots of social media. If you go to the description of this video, Facebook up above and YouTube down below, you'll be able to find their social media. Make sure you sign up and follow them, because they're always putting stuff out. Yeah, they're teaching you, and they've got some pretty cool designs. If you're stuck on designs, you can go to their website, themoosedesigns, right? .com.
Yep.
And
design, no
S.
and check out what they got.
But
I
own that one too.
Yeah, okay. And and they kind of demonstrate the things on YouTube, so you can see how they're making them.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, are you all ready for another question? Because we have 23 queued up for you.
We better get going.
You know, right? All right. This is from Stephen Reed. My son wants me to make a 29 cribbage board. Who would like to know how to start it? So have you guys done cribbage boards before?
Do you want to make 29 cribbage boards, or do you want to make
29 is the highest?
Probably the shape of 29.
The shape.
I don't know. I'll go to like Mark Lindsay or Garrett's and get some design kind of help there.
First of all, I would go find a design. Go to Etsy or ask in a Facebook group if somebody's got it, and you will find it. And that's where you start at. And then you've got to know how to process through it, right? You have to drill it and set up your tool paths and what have you, and go.
Even the Facebook groups, like someone might be willing to make you that file for $10 or something. Like there's a lot of people in the groups that are more than happy to help you for a couple bucks.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe look for like CNC cribbage board groups. I mean, there's literally, I feel like if there's a group for it, it's probably out there. You know, there's
Ask Jen.
You know what? There you go. If you are making cribbage boards, you want to make a couple, go find a cribbage board group and just kind of talk and say, hey, look what I just made. Don't sell. Everybody hates to be sold, right? But people love to buy. And if you just show, hey, look what I made, and it's a custom cribbage board, believe me, you're going to get some business that way.
Yep. There you go. All right. So this is an interesting question here. So we had Rod Bloomquist question, how to cut dovetail grooves how to cut dovetail grooves to use dovetail clamps.
Okay, so Morgan at Onefinity, he used to work with Micro Jig, and their whole thing is like dovetails and all that. So if you go to the Onefinity page, I believe he has a whole video on how to use that dovetail bit to use like the clamps on your wasteboard. I think that's what he's referring to. That's not something I've ever done, but I know he's got a video on it over there somewhere.
Yeah, he is quite the character. I'm sure the video is probably more than entertaining. Oh gosh. All right. So up next we have Dan. This is one of our regular viewers. So hi, Dan. How do you get a good fit between a box and its lid, and how do you make your box walls and floors?
So how to get a good fit on the lid is you just gotta play with the offsets. You can do that right in Vectric. There's like a whole offset tool path, and just make it, a 1/1000th of an inch or whatever, make a test cut and see how it goes. And I don't know what he means by how to cut the walls and floors. How thick? Oh, how thick. So for like small boxes and stuff like that, I like to be about a 1/2 inch or 0.4. I like to keep them nice and thin and clean looking for like a small box.
Yeah. Sorry, I did mistake that. Thank you, Jess, for catching that. How thick. All right. Well, hopefully, I think that's a really good answer for the thing. Also, Dan, you might try messing with the allowance offset by using that right in there in the pocketing toolpath when you're going around it, because that can really allow you to customize how tight the fit is getting, and then also the size of bit you're using too. So, if you want a really clean fit, I don't know, you might want to use a smaller bit depending on your corners, especially if it's got square corners and square edges. Also, you can make sure down where it has like your ramps and your leads and your start point, all that, there's a place in there for corners, and make sure if you are doing a square box, you're keeping your corners sharp. Make sure that box, that little tab is checked in there as well. So that will help too. So, all right, let's check out the next question here from Heather. Do you feel like it's too late to get started on a CNC business? Like we missed the wave?
Absolutely not. There's always room for more, but again, it's finding that niche. You can't just, I just posted a video last week and I kind of talked about like pricing and selling at the end of it, but you got to find a niche. You can't just put a basic cribbage board or a basic catch-all tray online and expect it to sell. There has to be some sort of distinguishing feature. And that could be something you do locally or online. It just, I mentioned like people that live on lake houses, you could take that design of the lake and turn that into like a catch-all tray, or there's all kinds of things you can do. Hobbies, lakes, states, all kinds of stuff like that people, their dogs, anything like that. It's got to be unique and specific.
Yep. People will always buy. They'll always buy. So you can't ever miss the market. You just, like Jeff said, you got a niche. Yeah.
And try to listen to the market too. Garrett has told me that from day one. Really, it's like ingrained in my brain, like listen to the market. What do they want? So I had, this is not something that I would do, but I have a bunch of friends. They go down to the river. They don't go to a lake. They go to a river. And there's a lot of rivers here in Indiana, where Garrett and I are both from. And so they wanted me to make them something that says, welcome to our camper at the river. They wanted the word river in there. And I'm like, oh, okay. Exactly. It's just not something that like I would think of, because I'm not that kind of, I don't go to a lot of rivers, I guess.
Yeah, but even camping, people buy their big camping RVs, and that's people's whole lifestyle. And like you can make little camping signs, or you just gotta
take
what you
stuff
at the wall until something sticks,
and try to use that as inspiration to make projects that you would want to see. But also, don't get married to anything. If it's not selling, try something new.
Yeah, just because you have an idea that you think is great doesn't mean everyone else is going to think it's great. If you make 10 items, expect maybe 2 of them to take off. Like you got to be accepting of that. Not all ideas are going to be great.
Keep throwing things at the wall.
Yeah, that's exactly what Ryan was saying when we had Ryan on. He'll have 20 projects out there, and 2 of them will hit. Right? Look at it this way: if you do a couple things and they don't work, don't take it personal. It's just the market's telling you that this is not what we want. Let's try again.
Yeah,
that's okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's kind of like
business.
Go ahead.
Yeah, all part of business is failure.
Exactly.
You can't win without failure.
Yeah. It's like try, fail, try, fail, try, fail. And then you'll hit 1 out of 10, but that's okay. That's perseverance, friends. You got to have it. So, all right, let's see. Up next, we have Paul Wheeler. What type of laser would you recommend to purchase for the first one?
It's a tough one. So if you're just starting out looking for like a hobby, like X Tool, they make some pretty affordable lasers. But if you're looking to like run a business and already have a business in place, I would recommend spending the money and getting a larger laser, because those smaller lasers you see for cheap everywhere are just not going to cut it at any sort of like scale or pumping stuff out. So I would save your money and buy like Thunder lasers, pretty good. Omtech's cheaper, but they're maybe going to have less customer support. And just ask around. I mean, people are glad to share. If you see someone on Instagram that's using a laser you're interested in, send them a message or comment on their post and ask them. Most people are glad to share their experience with their product. If they hate it, they'll be glad to tell you, I promise.
CO2.
CO2. I think CO2s are great. But you can get them for the CNCs.
Yeah,
I think they're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. What brand is that one?
That's Monport. It's basically an Omtech with a different name on it.
Yep,
Okay.
a lot of those.
Yep. I've got a couple lasers myself. I've got the 7-watt and the 24-watt from JTech, and those go great with the Onefinity. So, and the support from JTech is really, really good. Like, they answer the phone. It's not like, sitting through 10 prompts and messages like a real person. Hello, yes, okay, let me connect you to another real person. Like, they're very helpful.
Yep, and
but
them are diodes. Like, kind of like, them are like pretty much the same as like the X Tool. Like, they're just the smaller. They're fine. They're just going to be a lot slower than like a larger CO2 unit.
Oh yeah, 100%. I use mine for just like engraving on little things and, custom little gifts or whatever. But I know don't you all have a CO2 laser?
Yep, we have the Laguna MX. It's 100-watt, and
okay,
that one's been great. And we have a Thunder laser, fiber laser.
We got fiber, huh? Sweet.
That's cool. What do you make with that?
I want a fiber.
I kind of got it for content, but the content doesn't do as good as I thought it would.
He engraves his golf clubs.
But yeah, I do a lot of like golf clubs. I do a lot of like ball markers. People, like the maker coins, people put on like the bottom of their furniture. It's just a lot cleaner look than like the brand. They're more expensive, obviously, but
okay.
All kinds of little stuff.
So for those of you who don't know, who's watching, a fiber laser is more geared towards metal.
Yeah, you're not going to be doing. It can do wood, but it probably looks like crap.
You tried it once. Yeah, it doesn't look.
Yeah, it doesn't look good.
Yeah. Before we move on, we're at the top of the hour. Questions are cut off now, but you can still put them in there. If we run out of our queue here, then we'll still handle them. We are talking to Jeff and Jess from Two Moose Designs, and you've seen them on YouTube, and they have graciously offered or accepted my invite, Kate and my invite, to come and join us. So we got them here, and it's always nice to have other people. They have started a business. As they shared earlier, they kind of walked out of their business because they had to, because their CNC business took off kind of organically yourself. You just tried it and it worked. And I'm Garrett with IDC Woodcraft. Next to me is Kate Tucker with Women Who CNC. Kate, will you share about Women Who CNC and invite the ladies?
Yeah. So Women Who CNC is a collective of women who CNC. We have a group on Facebook. It is for ladies only. I'm so sorry, gentlemen. But there are some very, very talented ladies in there, ranging from new beginners all the way to seasoned woodworkers. We actually have a woodworker that is actually, She teaches in a high school and she has a CNC in her high school room. So she is definitely doing her part to bring the trade and, let a lot more students have that opportunity. So it's just a really, really cool group of women who are asking questions, but primarily the group was created for, because in the very large groups, there are just some really cruel people out there. And it wasn't fun to ask questions as a woman and basically be put down constantly just because of being a woman. And I kept seeing that more and more. And I just kind of got fed up with it. So I said, you know what? I'm starting a group for women only. Come ask your questions. It's a safe place, no judgment, women of all ages. And it's been absolutely fantastic. So we also have a website, womenwhocnc.com. It has an interactive map on it along with merch and training and links for codes and education. All the good stuff is on there. But if you do want to use the interactive map, create a quick account and you can get linked up with other CNC'ers all across the world. So kind of a neat area. But if you are a woman who CNCs and want some extra added support, come join us over on Facebook.
Yeah.
So,
all right. Yep.
Yeah.
And
Or on
I just
YouTube.
or on YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah.
And subscribe to IDC. Subscribe to Women Who CNC, and make sure you subscribe to Moose Designs, because you just can't get enough CNC. All right. A reminder again. IDC Woodcraft is looking for beta testers for new products that we're bringing on board. And so we have put a link in the description that you can apply, and you'll see whether you qualify for it or not just through that application. And but please do, because I don't have the bandwidth anymore. Also, there are 2 products that we are working on coming out with right now. It's going to be about another month or 2. The CNC Insiders, which is the email list for IDC Woodcraft, when we release products, they get a 15% discount on what we release. They usually wipe me out before I can even get it out to public. So if you want access to discounts when we release new products, and get on the CNC Insiders email list, that's in the description as well. Hey, Kate, we got a donation.
Oh, from Jerry. Thank you, Jerry. You're always so generous. It says, thank you for sharing your success story and willingness to help understand how best to get started and not be afraid to pivot when things don't go the way you expected them to go.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah. Jerry is a regular contributor here. Every week he does this. Thank you, Jerry.
Yes.
Down below in the IDC Woodcraft YouTube channel is a little button where you can, if you want to say thank you by giving a couple bucks, help Kate and I buy a burger and a beer, then feel free to donate. Kate and I, we all have to go out to dinner at some point. So
I know
let's bring
it.
on another question.
Yes. All right. Well, let's tackle another question. I'm going to let Jeff, I think this is a great one for you to answer. It says, just upgraded to Onefinity Elite. What is the function you use the most?
It's hard to, there's not really one specific function I use. There's a lot more things that are offered with the Masso unit over the standard, original unit. The Buildbonics one, yeah. I don't know. It's just, you definitely don't need the Elite, but all the extra features are so nice. It's hard to put my finger on just one, but it's also the rehoming and everything is so much more accurate. So if I'm doing an inlay cutting board and I need to go back to that last 0, I don't really have to worry about it. Versus the other one with the stall homing, it wasn't quite as accurate. So with that kind of stuff, it was a little rough. So I'd say that's probably how much more accurate it is with the actual legit homing and the feedback and the stepper motors and all that.
Okay. Do you feel like it was a really good upgrade for you and for your shop, or did you just do it because you're like, ooh, that's kind of cool, I want that?
Both.
Does the Elite have the Masso on it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the whole Elite series has all the Masso on it.
Okay.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. I've been wanting to upgrade. I'm just trying to justify between teaching and projects and all of the things how bad do I really need it? But it's also really, it would be so nice to like have.
Yeah, it's definitely not needed, especially for the average hobbyist or small business owner. Like, your CNC now is probably just fine. We had the X car for a while, and that thing was way less than the Onefinity. just even like the belts and the wheels and losing all that, just that alone was a huge upgrade over the X car. So you don't need it, but it is a nice little bonus.
Yeah, that's a great tip, when we get into it. I mean, there's something to be said for diving in full bore, but sometimes, I mean, I've had people who didn't understand CNC at all, and they've bought shop bots or shop sabers, and it's like, and then they're calling. Kate, you've probably had one-on-ones with a few.
I've had several of those. They buy the big 4 foot by 8 foot machines, and they're like, I don't know how to even turn this thing on. And I'm like, okay, well, let's get busy because we're going to be here for a minute.
Well, those things are moving. A half-inch bit just cruising compared to one of these like smaller hobbyist CNCs. It's definitely intimidating, especially for your first machine.
Right.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, the bits, the collets, just everything in general, like just the feeds and speeds. Like, Garrett has his IDC Woodcraft app out, and then the tool database. I mean, could you imagine just having one of those massive machines and then, a conservative speed of like 70 inches a minute when that thing could probably easily do like 200. I mean, you would just have to literally recreate the wheel for industrial machines.
That's part of why we're looking for product testers, because I'm going to the half-inch tooling. Right? I mean, I've got the half-inch machine over here, the Phantom, but I don't have the time to be testing it. I'm doing other stuff. Company's got bigger priorities.
Yeah, I hear that.
Yeah, and I can't wait to get into that.
All right.
I've already got a few half-inch beasts. I'm bored. We've been testing them.
Wow. My God, I can't even imagine. So, Jeff, I don't know if you know about his roughing bits, the Beast and the Hog, and then the 1/8 inch roughing, which is the end mill. I mean, I've personally tested those things on some pretty hard woods, and I mean, it can move. I mean, I've used it on my Makita, and I did, I think, 3/4 of an inch at like 100 inches a minute. I mean, just
wow.
Destroyed it. Like,
that's a lot of material.
Yeah. And especially for the Makita, I mean, I was pretty impressed. I really like the Hog, not the Hog, I'm sorry, the Badger. That's the 1/8 inch roughing bit. I did a Tree of Life project on some pine, which, pine's hit or miss, pretty soft wood. And I think, what did you tell me it can run at, Garrett? Was it 120 or 160? I can't remember.
The Badger can run at 130 inch. It's an 1/8 inch diameter bit, and it can run at 130 inches at a 1/4 inch deep in wood like ash and what have you.
Yeah. So I think I bumped it down just to 100 inches a minute because it was literally, I mean, pine's so soft. Like, I didn't want a ton of tear out and everything in it, but I mean, it did a fantastic job. I think I went from like a little over an hour down to a half an hour, but it was also a Tree of Life project. So, there's like 5 million leaves and then the roots and everything. So, but I was pretty impressed with it. That was the first time using it. And I'd say I gave it a run for its money.
When people look at it, they get scared. So the Beast, I've run it through maple at 1,000 inches per minute at 1 inch deep.
Yeah.
That's a 1/4 inch bit, Jeff.
Wow.
One inch deep, 1,000 inches per minute, 80% step.
That's awesome.
It literally is a beast. So, all right. Yeah. Well, let's go back to some questions here. We've got 19 left here in the queue. So this is from Terry Moss. He's asking, why Onefinity over others?
The ball screws and the V wheels and belts. Like, that was... So I knew about Onefinity before they kind of like came to the scene. We were at Workbench Con and they approached us there, and we had one of like the first machines ever made, and we were testing that out before it was even on the market. And that was like, chintzy's not the right word, but it was a long ways from the machine they have now, and it was far better than our X Carve. So I was like, sold. Even the Shape Oko, I think the Shape Oko is still rocking V wheels and belts and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Belts, stay away from belts. You got to have them set at certain tensions. Jess, you haven't said stuff for a while. What's going on over there, sister?
I'm just listening.
She doesn't nerd out like I do about all the all the
No.
technology.
I didn't get into the Masso and learn all that. I'm still using the.
She's comfortable with the Buildbotics, and
Yeah.
that's what she uses.
Girl, I feel you. I just look at those screens and I'm like, I know like a lot. I know a lot about them, but I kind of geek out a little bit here and there, but I'm still like, I'm like a creature of habit. Like when the new upgrade comes out or the new software upgrades, I'm just sitting back watching the forums going, nope, not today.
I like
this
the way
one
it
works.
is now.
It's fine.
Yeah.
So the latest upgrade doesn't have any bugs. It's good.
I'm usually like one of the first ones to upgrade it, and I usually don't have that many issues.
Well, that's good. Yeah. I can't say I've had a lot of issues. I just get like super nervous. I'm kind of like Jess. I'm just like, nah, it works. Like, don't mess with it. It's cool. I'll just be right here. All right. So I love this question from Sam. This is our brother, Sam Coleman. He says, question, how long and hard was it to make a decent cash flow from social media monetizations?
So this is going to vary on everyone, just because like there's people that come out and just crush it out the gate. For us, we had the business, so it was kind of like a slow and steady process for us until we were able to like recently just start cutting off our products and transition into it. But what a lot of people don't really realize about social media is you're not just making one income. I got like 8 different revenue streams over here, and you're taking those little chunks in here and there. It's like plans. I got affiliates. I got sponsorships. It's just too hard to rely on one. So it's building up all those little streams of income over time is like the key there.
Yeah. Yeah. I know Garrett can speak to speak.
Yeah, it's content, and it's content that people want. If you make content that people want to have, then it's easy. As long as you're consistent, you're relatively consistent at creating the content and keeping it high quality, then you'll do it. There's other aspects to it, more algorithm aspects, but it's got to be relevant content that people want.
Yeah,
but it's decent cash flow, he said. So I've been on YouTube for 3 years. I've got about 64K subscribers, and I get about $1,600 a month from YouTube. Just from YouTube.
Yeah, like you couldn't live off of that. So that's where like the other, and then there's also the accounts that, like if you look at like Jason from Bourbon Moth, he's getting way more than $1,500 a month right there because he's averaging probably 400,000 views per video, and that's just them kind of views in like to do an inlay cutting board. I'm not going to get 400,000 views. That's just not going to happen. There's not that broad of an audience in that select niche of a clientele. But then there's also people that don't have.
Yeah, I would want to say too. Your focus shouldn't be, if you want to build a business, make good money, it should not be focusing on trying to monetize channels.
Yeah.
Use the channels to generate the business.
Yeah. Right? And you also don't need.
I've got like 17 streams of income.
You don't need like a huge following either. I know guys with 10,000 subs or whatever, and they're making way more money than the accounts with big subs because they sell a distinct course or something like that, where they have a super niche of people that like their stuff. So it's not about always about the subs or the views. It's again finding your lane.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So Mr. Robert Butler has a question for us. He says he's a newbie. What determines?
Right. Welcome to the crew, brother.
Yeah. What determines how thick a piece of wood can be worked in a CNC machine?
To me, it just depends on the project. I mean, I've cut stuff that's 1/4 inch thick, cut stuff that's, as thick as my Bic can handle. So I'm not sure how to answer that.
Depends on
one.
what you're making.
So basically it's based on the Z stroke of the machine, the bit length, and the clearance underneath the gantry.
Yes.
Good
Yeah.
answer. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I've
There's
got
so many.
about 3. Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kate.
No, I was just going to say there's tons of possibilities. It really just depends on what you want to do. I will say this from a newbie experience that I had, because I actually bought one of Jeff and Jess's, I can't remember which dog it was, but one of your dog bowl trays, right? And I was brand new. My brother's dog had just passed away. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is perfect. This is going to be like the perfect little gift. I'll carve it in there, and then I can carve her name in there or whatever. The lesson I learned the quickest was I had a big, thick piece of cherry. Your bits can only carve so deep, and you do not want to run the nut all the way down to where it's literally hitting the top of the material, because what happened was the whole thing went flying. And I mean, literally, when I say like new, I think that was like one of my very first projects. And of course, every CNC'er wants to do the most difficult thing they can when they're new. Robert, if I can give you any good advice, it's start with some thinner material, not your machine's max. Make sure you have the appropriate bits. You're paying attention to the bit length. You know how to shank your bits correctly, because you definitely don't want to be, just barely putting it into the collet and then into the nut. Just don't do that. Make sure you
also,
know how to do bits.
A big tip with the Makita router or any compact palm router, that when you're using first starting out, get that dust out of the collet. Take that thing off, get the dust out of there, because you will get bit slip if you're not keeping that thing clean. Usually I'll take it out and I'll just tap it with the wrench to get most of it out. And then every couple of changes, I'll take it out, clean it, and then put it back together, because you'll be cutting along and all of a sudden your 1/4 inch bits slipping down into your wasteboard and you're cutting 1 inch at a crack.
Yeah. Done that before too. Cleaning your collets, absolutely.
Yep. That's, you got to clean that collet. And what you just said, Jeff, that's why I put that out. That's a guide to tell. So whenever IDC Woodcraft, if you're a first time customer, this is one of the things that comes in your packages, is this chucking guide. It tells you how to chuck your bits and how not to chuck them, because
that'll save a lot of headaches.
Yeah, you aren't kidding.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So this dog bowl thing that you were talking about, do you guys have that like in front of you? I told Jeff to get Jeff and Jess to get some of their projects.
She's like, should I get a couple? I'm like, nah, it's fine. Yeah, I have a couple.
Yeah, some of the
Jeff,
patterns.
You just need to listen to Jess. I mean, come on now.
Right, I know, I'm bad at it.
So these are different than what we first made.
The so like here's
feeders. This is just what we call a catch-all tray. It's
a corgi.
Yeah, those are. See, that's exactly what I wanted to make, but I had this big, thick piece of cherry, and I thought, I'm gonna make it like this nice thick bowl.
Is that available on your site?
The files are, yeah.
Yeah.
The files are? Okay.
Yeah, you get the file and then like the tray outline and all that. And then it comes with like a little guide to like how we prefer to like how thick the walls, how deep we go and stuff like that.
We have a YouTube video that'll walk you through a catch-all tray. So it's a good starter project because it shows you how to cut, what do you call it?
Like the cavity. That one's based in easel, but like you still get the information.
Yeah, and then you can V-bit the inside. So it just kind of gives you those like core abilities for the CNC.
Okay, so Jeff, I remember you saying this in a video, and it has literally like been burned into my brain for the longest time. In every project that I do, when I do something like this, I try to remember it. So tell the people, because I had to chuckle, because when I looked at all of your files, and I think I was watching that YouTube video at some point, you were talking about the Z clearance that you have to raise up, because I actually have a Labrador, and you were saying in the lab bowl you have to raise it up a certain height to be able to come out of the bowl and clear it so you don't run it through the side of your project. So tell new CNC'ers a little bit about that so they understand what I'm saying.
So in easel, the way it's dumbed down, it's a little more difficult to do, but in Vectric it's not that bad, because like if you carve this cavity out and you set the flat depth to where the machine already knows that this is cleared out. But if you don't account for that and you set your Z in the bottom here, when the V-bit goes to move from here to here, that bit's gonna just blast through here. So you can see that in the preview, because some files won't do that, but always make sure that bit's gonna clear them walls, because I've done it a handful of times where you just don't notice it in the preview, and then all of a sudden it's just cramming through your workpiece.
You're like,
hey, Julianne, find that corgi file and put that in the comments. Yeah, it
she's
is
like,
good
I already did.
prototyping. Yeah, and I'm gonna have to buy it too because my girlfriend has a corgi. Oh.
No.
Maybe Liberty can make it.
There you go. There you go.
Just
All
by
right.
the way, whoever, people who are on board in the background, I'm going to bring you girls out real quick. We have our monitors in the background who are talking to you. There's Julianne and Liberty. And so wave girls, just so people know you're there. Julianne is definitely working there. And they're keeping things clean in the background.
Yeah.
All right, let's get the next question.
All right, let's see here. All right, so from Michael Clifton, Garrett or the ladies, do you have a link or know a link to help set up selling on Facebook or Etsy or wherever is good?
I guess they're talking about a link for a video.
I mean, I can hit on where to sell, but I don't have a link to a course or anything. But I think Etsy's great, getting your foot in the door, and you don't need a website. They kind of do all that for you. But again, there's a bunch of people on there. Etsy's showing other people's products next to your product, so that's just something you got to be aware of. And Facebook, I've always kind of avoided Facebook Marketplace with my items because you're going to put something on there for $50 and someone's going to be like, well, will you take 20? And it's just I don't know. It's fine for starting out, but it just, once you starting to get a little momentum, it's just super annoying and not worth your time.
Yeah, because you get a lot of hagglers, projects that I personally don't like, or that I in my perfection brain think are messed up or horrible. I will put on Facebook Marketplace and people are like, oh my God, it's so beautiful. And then I'm like, oh, well, okay. My sister comes to the shop all the time. And she's like, what's this stack of stuff over here? I'm like, that's the burden pile. And she's like, what? She's like, I'm taking this and this. And I'm just like, okay, here you have it.
We pawn off so much stuff on people.
Yeah. I'm like, please, just go.
Get it out of
take it off. I know. I have a totally goofy question for you guys. Do you feel like the stuff that you make is all over your house?
We've literally made
all of our furniture at this point, aside from our couches.
Even our pendants on our lights, our kitchen ones we all made on the laser, and then our one over our kitchen table, we made that one too. And we have clocks everywhere, and all of our furniture we've made. Pretty much everything except our couches.
You guys made a really cool cabinet that had some half moons. I kept seeing the process on one Infinity's page. That was so cool.
That's in our entryway. I did the Vectric V-carve or texture toolpath on the front of it, and it was like a scallop design, and it also doubled as the handles.
Yeah, it was pretty badass. I won't lie. I was like, wow, that's really incredible. So, but that's
all cool. That's cool stuff.
There's a comment in there from Sarah. She said Facebook Marketplace is a great way to test your products. You can. It's a full discussion, and maybe we'll have to have that on a different episode.
I think it very much depends on where you're located too.
That too.
We're in rural Wisconsin, so I don't think it's. You
spend more time talking to the people than you do even remotely trying to sell anything.
Yeah.
I feel that. We're in the Midwest, so I totally feel that.
Yeah.
Definitely towards the city, I could see it being more advantageous.
Yeah. Yeah. Because we have people drive up here and pick up stuff or whatever. And I'm just like, you spend more time talking to them about, the history of why they're buying it. And you're just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right then. Okay. So let's pop in a couple more questions here. So this one is from Bubba. Good evening, everyone. Can you use the laser with the Onefinity to trace a 3D carve after you carve it using the same XY or using the same datum XY accurately?
You're the Onefinity people. I'm not answering that question.
Carve your 3D file, then without removing the work, switch to the laser, highlighting the carved PC.
Carved piece.
So
piece. Yeah. Okay.
I don't have or use the JTech diode on top on like the Onefinity, but I think what they're saying is like make a catch-all tray and then use the laser to carve in the bottom. That is something I do on our laser. If you use Liper and there's like a trace feature, but I honestly don't even know how the diode laser, the JTech laser even works. I've never used one.
Yeah, I think they're asking like, can you attach the laser without removing
your
workpiece from the table?
I don't know.
So I'm it kind of throws me off here a little bit because like carving a 3D file, so the thing about 3D files is obviously you're going to have the texture and everything else. So if you're using a laser, so your lasers, I mean, are usually, they have to be so far off the surface. So like for the smaller diode lasers, like what I have, so I have a 7 and a 24 watt. So the 7 watt has a 1/4 inch like piece of acrylic that goes underneath it. So if you have a 3D project that's going up and down, when you're taking the laser over it, the focus of the laser is going to be off. So you're going to have a low spot and then a high spot, and then the focus is going to be off. So I really would not recommend using a laser to incorporate that in with a 3D carve per se.
Yeah, because the further away you get, the more like blown out that design's going to look. You're going to lose a lot of detail.
Yeah, so that is not something that I would recommend. So Mark Lindsay says, Above Vectric has a laser module that will do that. Oh, okay. It's a $50 add-on to your Vectric software. Okay, so I do actually have, Mark, I did not know that. They do have a laser module, yes, within Vectric that you can purchase, but I've never seen it incorporated in with 3D. So thank you, Mark, for bringing that to my attention. I will definitely look into that. So very cool. All right. Up next, we've got Richard. He says, huge longtime fan. Thank you. And how much has content creation replaced selling your own products? Have you been running a CNC for a year and am fascinated by the business? Oh, he has been running a CNC for a year.
So as of now, we're pretty much just focusing on selling like the inlay cutting boards. We've cut off pretty much all of our other products. Like over the past year, we've been slowly trying to get to that. So now, as of now, it's pretty much we're just going to focus on content and inlay cutting boards.
That's cool. I think you guys really should do a course on the inlay cutting boards because Jeff, your cutting boards are freaking out of this world. They're so cool.
Yeah, we will. One of my 40 things to do.
We'll just add it to the tab.
Yeah, I'm good at that.
So is that something you'll make available as files, some of your inlay cutting boards, or what?
I do. So I have a few files out where some files you just get the Vectric file, the SVG, and then my newer ones I've started offering the carve file for Vectric.
Okay. Well, let's take a look. I'm going to bring your website up. I'm going to.
Still only get so far with the inlays.
Yeah,
they're all so unique.
Yeah. So for context, I've go to digital downloads. So for context, I've used the same exact bit that I use for my detail pass, and I've used it on my both Onefinity machines with different parameters and offsets for the inlay fit. So I can't. People ask me what my offsets are, and I can't give you that information. You have to find that information on your own. It's like that specific when the deep detailed inlays.
So we're working on rearranging our website right now. As we get rid of items, we're going to be putting our files into different categories so they're easier. Right now, they're all in that one digital download space, and there's a lot. So eventually we'll have courses, we'll have SVGs, and then like the files with the G code.
Yeah. It's a lot to run a website, especially when you're doing it on your own. It's like, it can be really overwhelming. So especially when you get it all in there, you're like, well, now I want that over there.
Yeah. Now change everything and make it all different. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's a work in progress always.
All right, folks, it's 9:30 or bottom of the hour, so we're still going to keep going. We got 12 questions in the queue, but just for those who have joined the midway, we were talking to Jeff and Jess from Two Moose Designs. You've probably seen them on YouTube. They have Instagram and Facebook and whatever else you guys have. That's all linked down in the description. Yeah, go check them out. Subscribe to their channel. They make available designs for creators like you, and as they were just saying, they're getting into the inlay cutting boards because Jeff, these guys do some fantastic work. And I get asked about cutting boards all the time, the inlays, and I just haven't gotten into it to give answers. So this is the guy to be. Yeah. This is the one to be asking. Maybe I need to get into it. This is just to help you out there, Jeff. And IDC Woodcraft is looking for a beta tester or two for some new product that we're getting in CNC. There's a link down in the description to apply for that. It's recommended that you have a pro level floor model CNC router, and we got a couple new products that are coming out. And if you want to get a discount on that, which I don't make available to the public, you can get on the CNC Insiders list. That is also linked down below. And of course, join the CNC, the Women Who CNC, Kate's Facebook group. It's a women's only Facebook group. So if you're a guy, you won't be let in. And yeah. And then check out these guys' website, Jeff and Jess, twomoosedesigns.com, right? Yeah. And they've got designs there. If you're looking for some designs to work with, then there you go. All right, let's roll on.
All right. Let's see here. Jeff, this question might be from you, from Christopher. He's asking, how do I prevent my machine from doing random movements within the G code? I'm using Easel as my design program.
Well, that shouldn't happen. I would assume it's EMI, which would be like electrical interference, because my machine usually does as I expect it to. And usually if it does something weird, usually it's something I've done wrong that I can like see in the preview after I go back and look at it. Yeah, if you got it just moving around randomly, there's something else going on there.
You have a hidden layer somewhere that you're missing, you need to get rid of.
Yeah, that could be too. Duplicates within the software, maybe, on the design. All right, so let's see here. We've got Dan has another question for us. Where do you get your clock hardware, and what do you look for in good clockworks?
You can get them on Amazon. I mean, there's so many places to get them. We use Takine. They're the best ones we've used.
Movements. We're actually selling a bunch of our stock because we're not doing so many clocks right now. So
yeah, so if you want some hands and mechanisms,
have some available on our website.
Send us a message or
we'll offer
on our website.
Discount for bulk.
Is it on your website? Do you have some stuff on your website?
We have them listed individually, but if you want a larger quantity, you can.
Yeah, if you want to buy like 10 or 15, just send me a message on Instagram or email.
Julianne, put a link into the comments for their website, please.
Yep. So
see if you can find those products specifically.
Yeah.
Or that page.
Ooh. So, all right, let's see here. We have Tim Bonowitz. Do you sell pepper cutting board files?
I don't currently sell the pepper. Usually I'll run it myself for a while and I'll sell that until maybe it slows down some, and then I'll list that online. Or if it's one I just don't think that I want to recreate or sell, like myself, I'll usually list that right away. But all my new inlay files will come with the carve file. I also have another one I'm working on right now, and then I'm working on a mushroom pattern board.
Very cool.
You got some projects laying in front of you here, don't you?
Couple.
Yeah, show us what you got. Show some of the designs that you get
cutting boards. But
why don't we bring him full screen, Julian?
These are fun to make.
You
can make these like serving trays. We got files like this. But these are also these are good things to learn how to make on your own, like how to space out the cavities and all that. You can even do this in Easel if you really want.
Yeah. How deep are the pockets?
This one's really deep.
I think I went 1.5 inches. I don't know off the top of my head.
I don't know if you can tell the difference.
But yeah, this is like probably like 0.8, and this whole thing's probably just under 2 inches, like the actual thickness. And then stuff like this gets pretty complicated to design. And then we also have these like these mallet files. We have a bunch of different mallet designs.
Yeah. The mallets.
Yeah, these are fun to make, and they don't take much wood.
That's cool. Those are nice to have. Well, where's one of your? I want to see one of your beautiful cutting boards with those awesome inlays. You got one of those laying around? Those are so.
Let's bring another question while she's doing that.
Yeah. All right. So we've got one from Rocco here. Oh, okay. We'll come back to Rocco.
Let me see if I can. Yeah, I don't know. I got to figure out how to turn this blur off here.
Just hold it in front of you. I think it works that way.
I think it's under your. There you go. Oh, that's so cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
So that's an inlay. The clock behind
if you want to.
Yeah. Go ahead. Keep going.
Oh, there's another one.
Here's a multi-species.
So that one's got cherry. That one's black limba, maple.
There's probably mahogany. I don't know.
I think this cherry. That might be a kume. Yeah. If you want to see someone really crazy, check out Browenwood. Just type him into Google or Instagram. He's the one who taught me how to do this, and he is
YouTube.
Next. Yeah, look up Browenwood on YouTube if you want to watch some CNC stuff.
Put it in the chat.
Okay, Rowan, Rowan.
No, bro, like brother, bro in wood.
Oh, okay. Got it. Okay, very cool. All right. Well, cool. Thanks for sharing that. We'll have to definitely check him out and see how what he's doing over there.
You got him on
he's next level.
Julianne?
Yeah, his inlays are insane.
All right. All right. So back to our question from Rocco here. He says, Jeff, what are you using now instead of the DeWalt trim router?
So on the Elite, I have the Pone 80 millimeter, and then on my Journeyman, I have the Huyang 80 millimeter. It's like the Huyang's like the Chinese knockoff of it. You can get on Amazon for like $400 or something.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Sorry, my throat's getting a little squirrely here. So Dean Ridgway is asking, do you do anything with the laser attachment for a CNC? What thoughts on it? So since I have those, I'll take that. So Dean, I usually like to use my 7 watt for engraving on cutting boards. I do a lot of like custom like recipe boards with handwritten recipes. Those are a really big thing. It's great for stuff like that. I'll be really honest. There are a few differences. So you have your 7 watt, which is the one that's best for engraving. If you're looking for the JTech series, the 14 watt is great as well. Those two are really, really good for engraving. The 24 watt, I thought honestly would just be like faster on my CNC because it had more power. You know, turns out not so much. I tried doing like the laser pictures just because I thought that those would turn out better. Turns out that is not the case. The 24 watt was really designed to cut very, very thin, or, you know, I mean, it can cut, I don't know what they said, maybe up to like 1/4 of an inch or 1/2 inch or something crazy like that. But I mean, it's like 82 circles around and around and around. It's just not worth it. If you have a CNC, it's like done. So like the photos for a laser, like the lower diode wattage is actually way better for carving photos, or not carving, but laser engraving photos. So I would really do your research, look into some different groups and see what you want to do. If you're really looking into cutting with a laser, I would do what Jeff said, and I would do, or like what Garrett has, you know, the CO2 lasers. That's really what they're designed to do. So I would do something like that, but they're great for certain. They have their purpose. Trust me.
Yeah, I think they're great for starting out. But again, if you're trying to do any sort of like production past like adding your logo to stuff or putting someone's name on something,
yeah,
they're pretty slow compared to like a standalone unit.
100%. Yeah, that's just not what they're designed to do. So, all right, let's see. Up next, we have Eldon Hink. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your last name. Just want to say a huge thank you to Jeff and Jess, as they are the reason I got into CNC with the Onefinity Elite Foreman. With the spindle and the Craig stand. I still haven't made many projects. Thanks again.
We appreciate you for following along, and it's intimidating. Like you see someone like me, it sucks because I share all my stuff online. And it's like, oh, you make it look so easy, and like, it's not. Like, it's good. I tell people at least you're gonna spend at least 6 months learning this thing and trying to get comfortable with it, and just start making stuff. Even if it's a simple round tray, just put some time in that thing and start cutting stuff out. Even if it's just shapes or push sticks or whatever, just spend time with it and just get comfortable, because it's a lot with the bits, all the different speeds and feeds, and different types of woods, different materials, the software. It's a lot.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, you might want to get the, I just thought about this. You mentioned it before, Kate. It doesn't really have to do with this, but the IDC Woodcraft, we got, there's a router bit app. There's an app for your phone. So you have all your feeds and speeds right there. If you want it. It's just convenient little tool.
That's huge. That's so much help. Like when we got the X-Carve in like the end of 2017, the hobbyist scene wasn't really developed much yet. So like we were winging it on the speeds and feeds, and especially on the X-Carve was so like flimsy and soft. It was like you couldn't just use the stock bit setting. So it was intimidating. And then all these words like chip load and all this crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Go to your Play Store, Apple or Google, search IDC Woodcraft, you'll get it. It's free app.
Yeah. Well, the next biggest thing.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, Garrett doesn't mention it near enough as I feel like he should, because I tell every single one of my students before we even meet, like in an email, I'm like, if you have not gone to the IDC Woodcraft and downloaded the tool database, it imports directly into Vectric, Carveco, and what's the other one you have?
Fusion 360 and not Easel. Carbide Create.
That's what it is. Sorry. Yes. But I mean, they all download directly in there. It's got all of the feeds and speeds for all of his bits. I mean, it's literally a quick download and a quick upload through the tool library. I mean, save you hours of trying to calculate your own speeds and feeds, because Jeff just said it's like
definitely take advantage of that.
Yeah, it's I got to bring it up now. I'm going to bring it up on my screen, but just how many router bits are populated in this database is everything that's IDC carries. Let me just find it right there. There it is. So this entire database is all IDC Woodcraft router bits, right? But you can cross them over to other. You got everything you need right there.
Yep. 100%. All right. Well, we are down to 5 questions. So let's see if we can't get these guys answered. All right. So we've got Andy Chapman here. He says, Garrett, does the Longmill MK2 48x30 support the weight of the 80 millimeter spindle?
It does. It does. I've got it on here. I've run it around a bit. I haven't put it full blown test yet. It's a lot of weight to put on a benchtop machine, no matter which machine. The 80 millimeter, I think you're unless you're going full bore, you can go with the 65. 65 is going to do you fine, and it's less weight. MK2, the Onefinity, it's a lot of weight to put on a machine.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. All right. So we have a question here from Wade. He is asking, Jeff, do you use a hydraulic press for your inlay boards?
I do. I bought a shop press. It was like $500, and then I modified it pretty heavily with a welder to make it fit my needs. So that's going to be like the biggest challenge, to get that even pressure. I have heard of people using like the vacuum bags. Not something I've messed with. When I first started out, I had some Pony Jorgensen like those like deep throat clamps that have like 12 inches of clearance, and I would put a couple pieces of wood on there to sandwich it on there, and that works. But if you're trying to do like multiple boards at any sort of like speed, a press is pretty great.
So you just stack the boards on top of each other
With the clamps, yeah. Okay. And then the press is essentially like a shop press with a bottle jack on it. And then I have a big metal plate on it, and it presses that inlay in there is pretty
evenly.
much as like evenly as you can get it.
That's smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. The things you get exposed to when you do something new.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh gosh. All right. So we have a question here from Wayne. He says, is it true when you upgrade to a spindle, if you only have 110 power to your electric box, you will need to upgrade your power source to 220?
Depends on your spindle.
It's 110 spindle. Yeah.
But be aware that like the 80-watt spindle that's 110, it draws a ton of amperage. So that's something to be aware of. Like the Hu Yang we have, it draws like 18 amps or something crazy. So if you're on like a 15 amp circuit, that's something to be aware of. But like the 65 millimeter ones should be just fine for 110. Ours is 220, but depends on your needs.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So let's see here. So Harvey here says, will the G-Sender software run on a Mac? They have a download for Mac, so I am assuming that it will run the long mill into MK2. I know the V-Carve needs a window machine to run best.
Yeah. They have a download for a Mac. The G-Sender is control software for Arduino control boards, like the long mill, millwright, what have you. And it's the one I recommend. It's a very clean software. It's constantly being worked on and improved upon. And they've got a download for a Mac. So I'm a PC guy, so I couldn't tell you if it works, but I'm sure it does.
We run Mac products, and with Vectric, you have to have a Windows operating system, and we run Parallels. That's $100 a year, but it's essentially a pop-up that comes on your screen, and it's like having a Windows computer inside your Mac. It's great. $100 a year sucks, but if you're a Mac person, I tried buying a cheap Windows laptop. Now we have I had bought a decent like shop computer that's Windows, but if you're locked into the Mac world, it's hard. Same as you probably going to like a Mac computer. It's like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been actually looking at different computers myself, and I'm like, I have like my laptop that I really like, but for my Vectric, because I would probably have a heart attack if I tried to do something like design wise, like as far as like all my functions that, shortcuts and stuff, I'd probably have a heart attack trying to learn new. But yeah, I actually have a student that runs the same parallel course, and he really likes it, but he feels like there's a little bit of lag. Do you feel like there's ever lag in your parallel program?
No, but I'm also running like a $2,000 MacBook Pro, so that might be it.
Mm-hmm.
So because like the iPad or the MacBook Airs don't have quite as much processing power, and that's probably what most people are buying. So you might need a more beefy computer, because running Vectric and then I run Adobe Illustrator, I have a lot of stuff running on this computer, and a lower end computer is going to struggle. That's probably the issue. It's just the computer is not quite powerful enough.
Yeah, I agree with that. Plus, the software takes up a ton of your storage space too. So always be really mindful of that, because, I'm running into that with I have a Windows Surface Pro, and I'm starting to run into that error, and it's getting very, very irritating. So I feel I'm so glad that you said that about having a high quality computer instead of just something simple.
And it sucks. They're expensive. The software's expensive. The CNC's expensive. Like just paying that $3,000 for the CNC, there's double it easily. Especially if you're going to get any sort of decent computer.
Yes.
Yeah. I ended
All
up
right.
getting the game. Oh, Marco. All right. Bring him on.
So we have one last comment here from Mark, Mr. Lindsay. He says, I still want to know how they trained two moose to design for them.
A lot of snacks. A whole lot of treats.
They're always sleeping on the job.
Yeah.
Good answer.
Nice, Mark. That's classic. I love it. That's awesome. That is the perfect way to end our questions. But how did you guys come up with that?
When we met, we each had a dog named Moose, and so that's where it stemmed from. Yeah.
I had a Saint Bernard named Moose, and she had we still have the
pity
the main
boxer.
Moose. The bigger Moose has since passed because Saint Bernards have a shorter lifespan. But yeah, both had a dog named Moose. 2 Moose design.
I love it. That's really cool. Cute. I love that. I love that.
Well, I want to bring the girls out who've been sitting out in the background for a long time, very patiently. So Liberty, Julianne, just bring them back into the. I'm trying to. There we go. So, we've had Liberty on top there with the cool green hair. She's the girl who ships your packages to you from IDC Woodcraft and writes all those awesome notes and drops M&Ms in your package and throws in all kinds of extra stuff. She costs me so much money, it's not funny. And then we have Julianne down at the bottom here, who is making sure everything's copacetic behind. So they've been in the background. Give them a little love, and thank you, girls, for helping out. And we're going to back you out. My energy's been down today. I've been dealing with. I feel like I've got a little bit of a cold trying to get in there. So I've been in the mirror going, "You don't belong here. Go away. Go away."
Do it.
I don't get sick.
I know.
Don't get sick.
Don't get sick. I just slow down.
Yeah.
It's literally the worst thing in the world for an entrepreneur is to get sick. Like I've been around kids for days and days, and I feel like they're just little petri dishes. Like everywhere you go, they're just like, I'm like, no, stay away. Yeah, they're always touching you. And yeah, my kids play sports, so I'm always sitting in some type of a packed gym somewhere, or sitting in my car hauling kids around, and they're coughing and sneezing, and I'm just like,
stop.
Don't touch anything.
Don't even look at it.
Yeah, it's so I've been fighting another cold, so super fun. It's super fun to wear a respirator when you're sanding and have a cold.
Ooh.
So
and you can't
absolutely
breathe.
You got your nose running. It's glorious.
Yes, 100%. By the way, for those of you that have been following along with my journey with the new 4x8 True Track saw or router sled that I have out there, I got it. I did do some work on it today. Pretty cool. I actually kind of had like a little bit of an epiphany when I was working on it. So I think originally when we set it up just like on the big 4x8 table made out of 2x4s, it was only raised up about like maybe 2 inches. And so today I was like, okay, I'm gonna get in it. I'm gonna like level up a piece of board and we're gonna like shoot this video. And then I like went to run the router over it, and I'm like, crap, I can't like raise the router high enough. So I literally had to unassemble the entire like track, raise it up, put pieces of like 2x4 underneath it, and then re-adhere the whole thing. I had to take the vac system off of it, take the whole router assembly off. I was just like, oh, for the love of God. I'm like, this is a train wreck of a video. I did get some content, so I'll try to post it later. But if it looks like a hot disaster, now you know why. But
it usually is, though.
That's real life. Yeah. Show them the mistakes.
Yeah.
Kate's got this awesome 4x8 surfacing sled. So if you got a big piece of wood you need surfaced, you might be able to commission Kate to take care of that for you.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool thing. But I will say I did get to surface some wood that was about 2.5 inches thick, and I've been waiting forever to get this piece done because it's like this like really like long and kind of like really like funky cookie looking piece. And so I've just been like trying it out, and boy, I got like that ugly top layer off of it, and it has like these beautiful like reds and purples in it. I don't even know what I'm going to do with it, but it's
beautiful.
Gorgeous. Gorgeous. Absolutely stunning. So Anyway, just want to let you guys know I did get some work done on it. So I'm just trying to figure out all the ins and outs before I stick the big epoxy table on there and get that surfaced and done. So.
All right, brothers and sisters, before we check off, thank you, first of all, for hanging with us for the last couple hours. And Jeff and Jess from Two Moose Design, you've seen them on YouTube. They are linked in the description of this video. So make sure you go subscribe to their channel. Give them some love for spending some time and giving some of their knowledge to you. And we like subscribers. But just, I don't know why, we just like people that subscribe to our channel. So give them some love and give a thumbs up to this video. Whether Valentine's Day, you got to do it, right? Give us a heart. Subscribe to YouTube, IDC Woodcraft. Subscribe to Women Who CNC. Get to the Women Who CNC Facebook group if you are female only. We can't get in there, Jeff. Sorry.
Not allowed.
And yeah, it's been fun hearing your story and just kind of just chewing the fat and connecting with another content creator out there. And
yeah, we love this stuff. We always love doing this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Put in the comments, folks, if you want us to bring them on again. Let's see a yes. I want to see yeses. I want to see lots of yeses, and we'll get them back on board. So I don't know. That's kind of it for me now.
Yeah.
Kate, anything else you want to share?
No, sir. Thank you. Thank you for everyone. Thank you to Jeff and Jess both for all
thanks for having us. We appreciate it.
You guys, I think, have inspired a lot of people out there. You guys both have done some incredible work.
We try.
We look forward to seeing you guys and what you have for us in the future.
Yep, and make sure you support them. You know, their livelihood is selling designs, right? You're creating, go buy a design off them. Find something that you like off their website.
And usually it saves you a lot of time.
What's that?
I said usually it saves you a lot of time. Spend $5 for a made file, or spend 4 hours trying to figure it out.
I mean, obviously. That's the beauty of getting designs. So, all right. Yeah, with that, I'm going to say good night, good evening. We will be here next Wednesday.
Thank you, everyone.
Eastern Standard Time. Jeff, Jess, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
All right. Good night, guys.
We'll say good night.
See ya.